Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is ZillaFan85. I'm back today with my latest video. Today I'm going to go ahead and do another Let's Play series. We are going to of course, go ahead and do Godzilla Monster of Monsters for the NES. I'm going to be playing it on my NES Mini. As you guys can see here, this is a modded NES Mini. Definitely a good way to go to play this game here. Should be something I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I actually happen to love this game. I know for some people it's hit and miss, but for me it's at least in my top 20 favorite video games of all time, maybe even top 15. I know that might be a stretch to some people to say that, but for me personally, I just really happen to love the game. So this game was released in 1988. It is my oldest Godzilla game that I've personally ever played. Of course, I do have the physical version on my for my actual Nintendo, my actual NES. But like I said, just for the purposes of this, we're going to play on the NES Mini here. So we're going to go ahead and get started in a minute. Just kind of laying some groundwork for this. Now, this game, I am going to do it in one sitting. However, I'm not going to make this one big long video because this game takes a few hours to beat. It takes, boy, I'd say roughly at least a few hours, if not more, to beat. So I don't want to have that long of a video upload. So I'm going to split it into some parts here. At least 2, probably 3, maybe even 4 parts, just depending. I'm not going to stop after each world because there's 8 worlds in the game and I don't want there to be 8 parts to this video. So I would prefer no more than 4, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, we're definitely going to go ahead and jump into it. Of course, I decided to make the decision to do this because this year does mark Godzilla's 70th anniversary. So definitely felt that it was time for this Let's Play. Plus, as well, the time of this recording, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, comes out later in the week. So definitely, a good time nonetheless for all this stuff. Other than that, I mean, that pretty much kind of sums up some of the stuff that I wanted to go through. There's a lot of... The game itself is pretty straightforward. There's basically 2 different views for the game, and then the controls are fairly simple overall, so there's not a whole lot there. There are a lot of Easter eggs and things like that in the game, though, which I'll try and point out as many as I can. So... plus some of the ins and outs as we go along here. What I'm planning to do as well, because like I said, I'm going to have to play through the whole game in one sitting is what I'm going to do, and then split it into parts, and I'll denote when I'm going to end off one part and then start part 2, etc., etc. So just kind of some good things to note as far as that goes. And I do want to apologize to people as well, because I realize I have not posted in a little while, just been dealing with some personal stuff, but I'm trying to at least somewhat get back into the swing of things here, doing this video, and I'm planning to get back to my figure reviews as well, of course, just taking it one step at a time though. But figured this was a good week to do this Let's Play because it's spring break as well for me, so I'm off, and plus just starting some bits with a new job, but only doing some sort of initial training, and I kind of set my own schedules and whatnot, so I have the time to spend to be able to do this week. But without further ado, I think let's go ahead and jump into it here, folks. I love that title theme song. Actually, all the music in this game to me is awesome. Love it. See, copyright 1988 by Toho Company Limited, and of course this is the US release. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. So let's start here. So you have the options for new game, last game. Last game is if you, essentially like if you get a game over or something like that, and you want to start from the last world that you were on, you can do that. So basically that from there, and then of course you got the password game, which is if you have a password to start on a certain world, if you start the game up, booting it on, whatever, or you have certain passwords and like secrets that you can put in so that you can maybe face all the monsters from the beginning world, and maybe start another world on a separate level or something like that. So so there are various ones. We're not going to mess with any of that, so we're just going to do the straightforward game here. So let's just go ahead and start the new game. And this is very slow scrolling text, but I will sort of read it as I go. So in 2XXX AD, the Earth receives a declaration of war. By the way, you can see some ships in the background. So the one in the foreground is the Go-10 from, I believe, Latitude 0, and then the ones in the background are the Moonlight SY-3. The declaration of war from Planet X. With the entire solar system. It's got King Ghidorah right there, or Ghidorah, however you prefer to pronounce the name. So the entire solar system as the battlefield. Bloody combat begins. It's got Tango there between space monsters and our guardians, Godzilla and Mothra. Yeah, I wish that they would have sped up the scrolling of that text, but is what it is. Alright, the Earth. This is World 1. I'll start some things off here. So as you can see, the setup here, it's almost like a sort of overhead view, almost like a board game style, the way they got it with all these hex fields set up. And so these are our two characters here. Of course, you've got Godzilla and Mothra. And then, of course, you can move them along. Godzilla can move up to 2 spaces at a time on this board, and Mothra can move up to 4. Now, the thing is, for me personally, I don't like to move her any more than 2 at a time. Just because, basically, however many spaces you move over it, then once you enter from there, you basically, the game switches to a side-scrolling view, and however many of these you pass over, how many action scenes that you have to play, essentially. And I prefer not to have to do more than 2 at a time, because the game does get monotonous, I will say that. So just to kind of note. Now you can see here the enemy monsters that are on the screen. So for World 1 here, Earth, we have 2. And I'll showcase them by highlighting, pressing A. Godzilla, and his life is 4.0. And then Mogera, or Magara, however you prefer to pronounce the name, I say Mogera, life 8.0. So these are your starter 2 enemy monsters here, and there will be more for the most part, as each world goes along. So there ends up being a total of 8 enemy kaiju that you'll have to end up facing. And of course, you only have 2. Of course, though, one thing I will note as we're just kind of starting up here, originally this game was going to give you 4 playable monsters because Rodan and Anguirus were supposed to be in this game as part of your team, but they were scrapped, I guess, in development. But there are sprites and whatnot that exist of them, and even I think people can put in codes that can make them playable, so which is kind of cool. I wish that they were. The funny thing was, when I was a kid, I always said to myself, man, I'm really outnumbered. I wish And I always said, I wish Rodan and Angerus were in the game, and it turns out that they were supposed to be. So I always thought that was really funny, and I'm not making that up, that I always, without knowing, wished that they were in the game. And of course, initially they were originally intended to be. So anyway, so we're going to go ahead and kick things off here. So also just to kind of some things to note here. So you've got different terrain types on each of these hexes. So these sort of rocky ones, this is mountainous terrain. This sort of green vine, that's a jungle terrain. And you've got this sort of forest green spiral, that's like a subspace special stage terrain. So that's pretty interesting, and there's different ways that you can, recover your health, or even different things that you can use to help you level up, because there is a leveling system in this game. Of course, you start at level 1, and you can go all the way up to level 16. Grinding is a good way to raise up your points and help you level up. However, one thing I've noticed some people who have played the game and done these series forgot to mention is that, or maybe didn't even realize, is that the fact that you can only level up to a certain point per world. So like World 1 here, we're starting out at level 1, but you can only reach level 3. And then you're basically soft locked until you get to the next world before you can level up again. And then it kind of goes from there. So I just wanted to kind of point some of that stuff out. Now, of course, some other terrain here. You see this got this volcano, and of course that is a volcanic region. And where these guys are, they're standing on fortress terrain right now. And then of course you got this is also a fortress, but this has a satellite. That's the final fortress. So once your monsters pass through this stage, then they have the option to move on to the next world. One thing I will note though is your last remaining of your 2 monsters has to pass through this final fortress stage in each world in order to progress to the next one. If they end up getting killed, whatever, if they end up dying, then you get a game over, even if the other monster already passed through. So it's kind of not fair, but it just kind of is what it is. So just kind of want to point some of that stuff out. Alright, now without further ado, there's a lot of exposition here. Let's go ahead and jump right to it. Select Godzilla to start, and we're going to move 2 spaces. And I personally like to divide and conquer with my monsters. So, from here. Alright, here's the side-scrolling view. So you see you've got A punches, B kicks, down and B does a tail swipe, hit up to jump for whatever reason. I guess because of limited button inputs here for the NES. Now the select button is your pause, believe it or not. And the start button is your special, and I'll just showcase here. So for Godzilla, his atomic breath. Showcase Mothra's once we get there. Now some people try to skip a lot of the terrain. I actually try to just grind everything out. So I apologize for the gameplay. It's going to be a bit monotonous, but just want to try and trudge through it. These sort of maser cannons here. See, you've got these ships in the background. Now that one floating on the left, it was the Black Shark, and the one above us is actually the Super X. It's probably the one Heisei era vessel that you'll see in this game here. Kind of interesting to note, and those are both enemy ships. You also see the Moonlight SY-3, which is our only ally ship in the game, and they'll drop both health capsules, as you guys have seen there, that restore health. And they also drop these sort of energy orbs that help us to take out enemies along the game. Energy orbs. Yep. Alright, so as you see, we go, and then it's like a chess match, so the enemy goes next if there are enemy monsters on the screen. So, went. So now, Mothra will go. And I'll move her here, that's fine. Now Mothra, A and B both do the same thing. They sort of have these high laser blasts that they fire. So her moveset's pretty limited. She can fly, which does help some people try to fly over stuff. However, because of her lighter weight, as you guys can see, she gets knocked back very easily, including by enemy projectiles that she hits. So, something to note. Of course, select pauses, and then her special power-up are her poison powder scales that she fires. So, of course, you can hit those in succession to fire out a bunch of them. They obviously don't do as much damage as as Godzilla's atomic breath, but can come in handy in a scrap. Now the problem is when you're these lower levels like this, Mothra especially is very weak. So she does get stronger as you level up, though, and becomes more formidable. But of course, Godzilla, once he levels up as well. And of course, these are the health capsules, as I mentioned. So grab them, restore health. Now here's the subspace stage, and this is actually based on that movie Matango, which I've never seen, but sounded pretty interesting. It's like a 60s Japanese horror movie from Toho, I believe. So pretty cool. But it's nice though. It's like a special stage here. You can glowing now, so it'll be done soon. Rack up a lot of points, which helps with leveling up. So Gyara's made his move, and I'm gonna go ahead and move Godzilla, and we're gonna get ready to engage. Will you fight the enemy? Yes. Will you fight Mogira? Yes. Time right now. So far, so good. These will still be longish episodes. You know, probably at least an hour, if not more, since I want to try to get the game done within a few parts. So I want to do at least 2, maybe even 3 worlds per part of this Let's Play series. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how we're doing on time, though, folks. SY3, as you can see, it's dropping energy to help us combat opponents, plus dropping us health as well. Alright, here's our first look at the jungle stage. Very bizarre looking. And by the way, those ships flying there, that's actually supposed to be the P1. Don't forget that the Exians, however you want to pronounce them, and Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, aka Invasion of Astro Monster, that they replicated the P1 for the Earthlings, so kind of makes sense that they took control. The Super X, though, I'm not really sure, but it is what it is. Some people will pin Mogira using the tail whip because he won't fight back. I like to make it a little bit more interesting, so I am actually gonna try and fight. This is definitely one of the probably the highlight of the game, are the monster battles. Sucks, the screen is just a black screen and there's a time limit. I think it's like 60 seconds or something, but it's fun. Mogira is a bit dangerous, but not unbeatable. Certainly not. I want to finish him off. It's getting a little too liberal there, but that's alright. Alright, now Gazora wants to challenge us. So. He's much easier though. And there you go. He will soft lock you into the corner though with his tentacle if he pushes you into it, so that is one thing to note, although it doesn't really do much as far as damage goes, but it does waste time, so that is something to note. Alright, let's go ahead and move Mothra. So now that both the enemy kaiju have been wiped off here, now they will return in the next world. That's what happens every time you get through a world, and you, whether you defeat them or not, they come back in the next world. All the enemy kaiju, I should say. And they'll be a little bit stronger each time as you go as well. So. Since they're wiped off here, now that means I just get to proceed forward without having to deal with them anymore. So. There's the volcano stage. Now you see that little fireball that turned into that enemy? That's actually supposed to be the fire dragon from Destroy All Monsters, or what was essentially the fire dragon. You see those ships that are the Keylok ships. It's kind of a hint as well. So that fireball blasts, and then you see it turns into a dragon-like creature. Again, it's supposed to be a nod to the fire dragon, or the supposed fire dragon from Destroy All Monsters. So very cool there. There's a lot of enemies on the screen, and of course it causes a lot of slowdown and what have you, so definitely some stuff to note during the playthrough. But now you see this dragon-like creature sticking out there, that's actually supposed to be Manda. So another regular enemy in the game, as it were. Very cool stuff, though. Very cool. I appreciate the attention to detail. Godzilla here. So you see Godzilla's at level 3 now. That's as far as we can get in on the Earth, so under a normal playthrough. So. Again, like I said, these action scenes do get kind of tedious and monotonous, I realize, but that's part of the reason why I don't move more than 2 spaces at a time, is I just like to switch things up as I go. Yeah, so I keep that true for the most part. If there's an instance where I need to move more for some reason or another, I do. Otherwise, I usually just move 1 to 2. Try to take down just about all the enemies, just to help with the grinding. Subspace stage. Now this is based on the movie Dagora, I believe it's called. Again, another one I haven't seen from Toho. But really cool nods in this game, so. Good way to get health though too. These the purple ones drop health, and then these other ones here drop your power capsules, as you can see there, which restore your special attack. Alright, now we'll move Mothra. And as you can see, we'll go here, the subspace, and then the first of the fortress stages here. Unfortunately, she's still at level 1. Hopefully we can get her leveling up soon. Down as many enemies as I can, basically. For some of these, I skip over some of them. Here's Fortress Stage. Alright, let's take Godzilla through to the end. Like I said, I love the music in this game. It's really catchy. Okay, so now he's cleared the final fortress stage of the world. So now we select him, select again, and he says, will you move to the next field? Yes. That moves him on, but in order to get to the next field, the next world, we have to clear this with Mothra. Let's do it. Sadly, she's still at level 1. I'm disappointed by that. Alright, so now we've cleared it with her. Now we can move on to World 2. Select. Will you move to the next field? Yes. And World 2 is Mars. There's 8 worlds in the game, like I said, so let's see as we go here. Now here is really where I like to divide and conquer, as you guys can see, because the way that it splits like this. So we'll take a quick little look-see at Mars, the layout of it, as you guys can see, and now we've got our next enemy kaiju listed on the screen here. So we'll take a look at all of them. We'll do this for each world. So Gazora Life 6.0, Mulgera Life 9.0, and now the next one is Varan Life 12.0. So he is our third enemy kaiju that we'll face. So let's go ahead and get to it here. About a half hour in, so definitely gonna go through World 2. I see if I want to go through World 3 as well. We'll see. Alright. 2 spaces. Beginnings of the worlds, for the most part, the levels are pretty short, and they get longer as they go along. So one thing you will note is, like you saw on Earth, how Mars is showing in the background, even though we're supposed to be on the planet. But I'm not sure why that is. So it's kind of one of those things you just kind of go with it. So. Easy peasy. Alright, I'll do Mothra. Moving next, now it's our turn. We'll move Godzilla. Gyarados, now we'll move Mothra. Mothra has finally reached level 2 here, just from grinding. So on Mars, the max level you can get to is 5. Mothra, 1 space, and let's take on Godzilla. Fight the enemy, yes. Fight Godzilla, yes. So you got the Gotango there in the background. That, of course, is the Showa Gotango. And the Gotango is the correct name. I know some people call it the Atragon, which I think that came from the dub of... It was either Godzilla Save the Earth or Godzilla Unleashed. One of those games, I don't remember which one, but they called the Gotango, which was in that game, they called it the Atragon, and that's not correct. The Atragon is the name of the film, but the ship is called the Gotango. So you see, Mothra is not very good right now against enemy kaiju, but we'll do our best here. It's going to be a bit of a grind out fight against Godzilla. So. He starts to soft lock us there. Corner, I start using as many scales as I can from her. It's like, hey man, back the hell off. This is what Godzilla does, waste time doing that. Now I'm not going to take on Varan, I'm going to take on Godzilla. So sometimes too, especially if you want Mothra to get the W, it might be easier to even tag team the enemy kaiju, or maybe you have Godzilla start the fight and then have Mothra finish it. So, which I can do that as well sometimes. Let's go ahead and start this up though here. Mothra's actually gotten up to level 3 just by grinding, which is good. I need to level up as much as possible. Alright. Godzilla's going to take on Mogera. Start with Breath. He's down for the count. At least on Mars, anyways. Go after Godzilla. Try to get Mothra the W. There we go. Ron's got a decent reach here, so Godzilla makes it a little bit tricky, but Mothra here, we've got the projectile weapons, so... Enemy, yes. We fight for Ron, yes. Now watch out for that thing. That is what a lot of us call the flying horseshoe of death, because it will track your movements and it will do a lot of damage and can basically grind you down to nothing in health, so be very careful with that enemy. I try to just avoid it as best as I can. So Godzilla's at level 5 now. Good. Perfect. Let's go ahead and see if we can finish off Ron here. Tail whip is a good way to hit him, although I do like to mix it up. It's got a stick and move. And we got him. Alright, let's move Mothra. Again, we've cleared off the enemy kaiju in this world, so now we can freely move to the end here. To the end, as Drago would say. Alright, Mothra's at level 4. Godzilla. Like I said, you notice these action scenes get a lot longer as you get deeper into the world. So I usually like to finish each world with Godzilla first, then Mothra, so I'm just going to do that. To the next field, yes. Alright, we're at the end of Mars. We move to the next field? Yes. Now we're at World 3, which is Jupiter. It's a really cool, really cool theme. One of my favorites in the game. So, you can see here the layout of the land plus our new enemy, Kaiju. So Jupiter, obviously, very rich with these jungle levels here. You've got a new type as well. These domes. These are city terrain. So that's basically the other type of terrain that we didn't see yet. So there you go. Now I'll take a look at our enemy kaiju here, and I think I am going to, just looking at the time, we're still under an hour. So obviously it's going to be a little over. It's going to be over an hour by the time I finish this part. But I think we're going to finish up Jupiter, and then I'll end this part off. So let's go ahead though. So first, Godzilla, Life 7.0. Mogera, Life 10.0. Varan, Life 13.0. And our new enemy kaiju, Hedra. Hedora if you prefer, but I say Hedra. Life 15.0. So awesome. Alright, sorry about the skipping this, probably just the recording there. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into it here. Let's move Godzilla. 2 spaces. So on Jupiter, I believe the max level you can get to is 7. Mothra. turn. Godzilla. Alright, so we're going to face Mulgera. See, Mulgera doesn't really like me kicking him in the face, so what are you going to do? See, we're already level 6 going into this fight. Good to go. Take Mothra. You see, Mothra is actually now level 5, so she leveled up as we're finishing the last stage. Yeah. Fight the enemy, yes. Fight Godzilla, yes. Godzilla's reached level 7 just by grinding. Cool. Like I said, I think that's the max we can get to on Jupiter. So. Definitely didn't plan for that to happen. NES. Yes. Now, if you lose a monster and you get to the next world, you will get that monster you lost back, but they lose a level from where they were at. So obviously I have to make it through now here. Getting a little bit tired. That's right. Did it, and Mothra leveled up, level 7. Thankfully. Alright, let's go ahead and progress forward. This way. Fight Hendrinus. Prefer to have Godzilla take on these monsters, but what are you gonna do? You'll notice that once you get to level 8 is when your attacks actually start to wield more damage. So, unfortunately, won't be able to do that on Jupiter. So. One here, not the most fair, but I mean, you can see that I'm doing okay as far as health goes and whatnot. These monsters aren't super dangerous, so. Still try to progress forward though, because I want to get to the end of this world. Finish up this episode here. You see we're in the cityscape. Let's see what that looks like here. do see these flying saucers actually look like the Xillian flying saucers, the Exian ones from Monster Zero. Again here, just good position to finish him off. There we go. Try to get a little closer to the end. Alright, now we can freely go to the end of the world. to the end. Move to the next field. Yes. We'll be up to World 4, which is Saturn. And we're going to get ready to close off this part here. But now, as you can see, we're on Saturn, and Godzilla, of course, is back. So we'll pick it up from here next time. So like I said, I'm going to end it off here. Of course, I'll continue playing on and just start up a new recording. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up for this video, folks. I'll try and, once I get done with the playthrough, I'll try and upload part 1 today. Of course, obviously everything at the time of this recording, and then probably the rest I'm thinking probably tomorrow. It just depends on timing, but it's probably what we're looking at here, though. Anyways, though, folks, I would like to thank you guys so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. And just remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.